So hey my YouTubers and everyone in the world, today is May the 23rd. The time is now 6:23 p.m. So today was a beautiful Thursday all day, guys. If you're new to my channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and that notification bell so you can see more of me. Now today's topic is going to be 10 easy tips on how to properly prepare for an exam. Now this was a highly requested video, so yes, good luck to you in your exams. But make sure to grab a pen and a paper to make sure that you write these things down because it's very important that you pass those tests. Now, the first easy tip on how to properly study for an exam is to get the proper rest the night before. I feel like it's really important for you to get the proper amount of rest so that you know for sure when you go in there to take the test the following day, you're well rested and you're not tired. So no staying up all night and partying the night before. It's really important that you at least get 7 to 8 hours or more of sleep before you take any exams. You want to be well rested. The second easy tip on how to prepare for an exam, guys, is start studying as soon as you find out you have to take this exam. Like, a lot of times people choose to wait until like a week or two before the exam because in their mind they're like, oh, I got this, it's going to be easy, it ain't nothing to it. I like to prepare myself. So like I'm telling you the things I would do myself. Study for that exam as soon as you find out you have to take the exam. You know, I'm not saying that you have to spend a whole bunch of time on the exam, but if you know that you have an exam coming up, it might be 2 weeks, it might be a month. At the end of the day, it's really important that you study for that exam way ahead of time as soon as you find out. Do not wait until the last minute. It's not smart. The third easy tip on how to prepare for an exam properly, guys, is to relax, breathe, and just take it easy. It's just a test. It's to test your knowledge on whatever that topic is, whatever that subject is. It's just to test your knowledge on what you know. So if you give yourself the proper time to study between you when you first find out about the exam and when you actually take that exam, in your mind, because you've been studying, it's like you're already prepared. So when you see certain things on that exam, it's not something new to you. You know, this is something you've been studying for. Your mind is like, okay, I remember this. Okay, so the answer is this. Or I remember that, so the answer is that. So like I said before, relax, breathe, and take it easy because it's just a test. It's to test your knowledge on whatever that subject is or that topic. Now, easy tip number 4 on how to properly study for an exam, guys, is, in my opinion, study at least 4 or 5 times a week, at least 1 hour a day. I feel like that's important because, like I said before, you guys definitely want to be well prepared for this test. That test is waiting on you, and you need to go in there with that confidence, knowing that you properly studied the right way, you properly got the right amount of rest, you gave yourself a good length of time to study for the exam, and you know, repetitiously doing it over and over again, your brain just starts to automatically, you'll know the answers a lot easier if you actually just study at least 1 hour a day, because you want to keep your mind sharp, and in order to do that you have to do stuff repetitiously. So like I said, study at least 1 hour a day, at least 4 or 5 times a week. I suggest that to be well prepared for that exam. Now, easy tip number 5 on how to properly study for an exam, guys, is study with a partner. You don't have to study by yourself. You don't have to be alone. To me, I feel like it's great to have 1, 2, maybe even 3 different people and you guys study together. That makes it so much more interesting. It makes it fun, you know, and it just, you can see where other people are coming from with their answers, and you guys could compare the answers and see which answer is the correct one. So when you have a study partner, it just makes it so much better. Or, excuse me, if you're like me, then you probably would prefer to study by yourself. But I feel like it all depends on what the subject is, or, you know, the topic. If it's a group discussion, then cool. And if you feel better studying by yourself, then that's fine too. Easy tip number 6 on how to properly study for an exam, guys, is to organize your study space. You want it to be clear. You don't want any distractions whatsoever. So I feel like it's important for you to have a study area where you can actually go. You got your books, your pencils, your papers, your calculators, and everything is right there in arm's reach. So you could just, okay, I got this, I got that. That makes it so much easier for you to study, like with your mind clear. And it just keeps you organized in your study space. I mean, no distractions. And that's the key to having the right organized area for you to properly study. Easy tip number 7, guys, on how to study for an exam is to practice on old exams. Like, in my opinion, it would be smart to gather books, different books about whatever it is that you're studying on, so that you can see it from different points of views. You can see what the test looked like a year or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, so you will have an idea of what that test is going to look like. You want to be as prepared as you possibly can. To me, I do believe that it is a such thing as overstudying, and that's when you study 3, 4, 5 hours a day. That's extreme, but some people prefer to do that because they want to ace the test. I get it, but I personally feel like, if you take an old exam and it's like 100 questions, and you say, okay, well, today I'm going to get through the first 20 questions. That's reasonable to me. And then tomorrow you do the next 20 questions and so forth. I can understand that. Like, getting old exams, like I said, will give you an idea of what that test might look like, because 9 out of 10 is going to look similar to the ones previous. But they will switch it up a little bit, because that's the trick of it. The wording might be a little different to throw you off, or the way that they have the book organized inside might be a little different, but it's still around that same type of, math, reading, social studies, science, writing, like the basic stuff. So yes, practice with old exams, because that'll let you know what you dealing with and what you can look forward to when you take the test. Now, easy tip number 8 on how to practice for an exam is to take breaks. Like I said before, there is a such thing as overstudying. So if you decide that you want to study for 1 hour a day, I suggest that you study for maybe a half an hour, you give yourself a little 10, 15, 20-minute break, and then you get back on it for another half an hour, and then you give yourself time, because you want your brain to analyze everything that you just went over. You don't want to overdo it. But like I said before, give yourself a break. Like I said, study 5 times a week, and 2 days out of the week, you give yourself a break, because we need that to regenerate. We need that to stay on top, and just, so we don't overload ourselves with too much. Easy tip number 9 on how to properly study for an exam, guys, is explain your answers to others. Like I said before, if we have a group of people and we are all studying for this exam, hear what other people have to say and how they got their answers. But I want you to also give them the reason why you got your answers, or how you received your answers. This way you can compare and contrast and see, if someone else's way may work for you, or your way may work for you. But explaining how you got the answers, it reminds you of how you got the answers and why that is the correct answer. And if it happens to be wrong, then someone can help you correct it, so when you take the test, you won't make that same mistake. Easy tip number 10, guys, on how to properly study for an exam is to trust yourself. Trust yourself. When you put A as the answer, don't go back and say, oh, don't procrastinate, or don't, sit there and fight yourself about it. Usually the first answer that you choose is probably the correct one. But what happens is we sit there and we overthink situations, and then we say, well, maybe it's not A, it's B. And once you pick B, you find out that A was the right answer. So trust yourself when you are putting the answers on that paperwork. Trust yourself. This is important for you taking an exam. You want to go in there with confidence. Now, I hope that all those tips I gave you guys help you to pass that exam, because this is surely the way to do it. And of course, don't cheat. That's obvious. But for some people who don't know, I'll say it again. Don't cheat. But like I always say, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And of course, visit my website at shoploveronline.com. Until next time, guys, peace. And good luck on your exam. Later.